Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios, otherwise known as my basement, it is my good friend, my bourbon drinking buddy, Matt. Matt, how you doing out there, man?
Mark, I feel like I'm in uncharted waters here. It's been so long since I've been behind the computer, sitting in front of the fireplace, in the Bourbon Life Studios. I cannot believe this.
I know we took a little bit of a hiatus, man, but we were back on track. But yeah, getting back to the controls and remember how everything works. It's like, wow, this is kind of crazy, but it is great. We got a great show lined up, man. I'm really excited about this one. This is one that's been long overdue for us to do, kind of a catch up and a introduction as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. But Matt, if you want to, man, I'll just let you take it away. You can introduce our guests, tell everybody who we have with us today.
Absolutely. Joining us for this episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast, we have got the crew here from Three Chord Bourbon. We have Michael Nanula, the CEO, and of course, our great friend, Ari Sussman, the whiskey maker at Three Chord. Gentlemen, welcome on to the Bourbon Life Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
Man, it's great to have you guys on here. This is like a contrast in guest because, Michael, this is your very first time on the Bourbon Life Podcast. So congratulations and welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you. You and I have communicated for years, but this is the first time actually having you on the show. So this is great. We're happy to have you here. Ari, it's like old hat, man. You're one of only 5 guests that have ever been on the show for 4 times. So you're in rare company, man.
Yeah, I'm privileged to be able to spend this amount of time with you guys.
Oh, man. We're privileged to have you back on with us. And I'm sorry we were just talking off camera that I won't get to see you this year at the KBF, man. But next year we will definitely catch up because we had a good time last year. So we'll make up for that next year. Something to look forward to for 26 for sure, right?
That's right.
Awesome. Well, guys, you guys graciously sent us 4 different expressions for this show, man. So I'm super excited about this. So what we probably want to do first, we'll talk about what we got poured up in our glass for this first round.
Great.
Michael, Ari, whoever wants to talk about this Flipside, I'll let you guys just kind of take it away and tell us what you got.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about the liquid. I mean, that's kind of
okay.
What to bring me in. So Flipside is our sort of reconfigured, re-engineered introductory whiskey. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, but Three Chord's gone through a little bit of a rebirth of sorts, as a lot of brands will, where we decided 8 years in, let's mix up some of the products that we're putting out. Let's essentially reformulate some of the liquid. Let's mix up the packaging to reflect kind of where we are as a brand and things that we love and where we think the market is right now, because these are all really interesting things to think about. The world is very different. The whiskey world is very different than it was 8 or 10 years ago. And we felt the need to, we felt just compelled to mix it up. And so we wanted to reconceptualize our previous inaugural or sort of introductory expression we called blended bourbon. It was 81 proof. It was a blend of 3 whiskeys from 3 different states. It came out of a time when people weren't really blending whiskeys in that way, and especially at lower proofs. And it did great for what it was at the time. But here we are a little bit later, and we wanted to kind of reformulate. And our new introductory expression we call Flipside. You'll see that it sounds like a record term, right? Like the flip side of a record.
Right.
And you'll see, as we'll go through it, all of our packaging kind of has this record-like vinyl-looking musical thing going on. And we wanted to make sure that that are sort of more approachable expression. We brought the proof up a little bit. We took it from 81 with blended bourbon. We brought it up to 90 proof, and we gave it a really nice finish with some French and American oak barrels. So we put a little bit more wood on it, and it's distilled in Kentucky. It's a blend of straight Kentucky bourbons. So two different bourbons, instead of being Kentucky and Indiana and Tennessee like our previous blended bourbon was. This is a blend of Kentucky bourbons at 90 proof, finished with French and American oak barrels to give it a little bit more spice, a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more depth, a little bit longer finish, and just create something that's that I think anyone can get behind at an affordable price, and with packaging that I think will get conversations going.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's what I noticed when I got these bottles and pulled them out. I'm like, it's all different, and I love it though. I love the way it looks, and we can talk some more about that rebranding. But yeah, man, the bottles, like you said, this is just such a cool looking expression, and it looks just like an old well, being old enough, I can call them records, right? So it looks like an old record you used to put it on the turntable, right?
It's kind of inspired by those old records that people. These old records that we're talking about are new all of a sudden, and vinyl is taken on a new life. When you walk into a Target or a Walmart or an Urban Outfitters or a nice clothing store, there's one thing that you'll see at all these places, and it's vinyl. It has a new cultural meaning, and Three Chord is leaning heavily into what that means in the broader culture and how it can help connect whiskey culture to music culture.
That's very cool. So, and this comes in at 90 proof. Matt, what do you pick up in terms of the nose on this, man?
I really like the nose. It's got a really lovely sweetness. I think a lot of the wood sugars come through in it from that toasted French oak. To me, I pick up a lot of vanilla on there. There's kind of that slight toasted profile of oak. And then I pick up almost like a little white chocolate or like a toasted macadamia. So there's like a subtle nutty flavor to it. It's certainly not a peanut. It's not as strong. That's kind of why I say like macadamia. It's almost like a little buttery, toasty nose with that nutty flavor, but really nice, very inviting. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. It's got that. It does have. It's almost like a creamy type of aroma to it. It's kind of weird to say that a nose is creamy, but it just kind of has that appeal to it. There's a little bit of spice that comes through for me on this one as well. So it does hit you with that nice sweetness. That French oak comes through as well. But then you get that sweetness, Matt, vanilla that you called out. And that's my favorite tasting note, because you're going to say vanilla about every bourbon in the world and it's going to work. So a little bit of spiciness comes through as well, but that toastiness comes through, like you mentioned, Matt. Can you guys, there's no age statement on this, but can we give a general approximation on that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially 6 to 8 years old.
Okay, all right, great. Nice.
And we can talk about the barrel market. It's one thing that's going on here, because there's going to be a lot of really great, 4 to 8 or 6 to 10-year-old whiskey for a little while here. And one of the things that we wanted to do as we set up these new expressions, these new standard expressions, is really exploit this current opportunity where there's some really phenomenal bottle-ready whiskeys available. But to make them distinct, you can blend them as we do. You can barrel finish them, because bulk whiskey is essentially, a canvas on which you can do all kinds of things. And so all of those kind of threads that we see out in the whiskey culture right now are at play in this bottle.
Very, very cool. Michael, what about you? What do you pick up in the nose on this one? I'm putting you on the spot, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. No, the French oak is really what permeates most in my olfactory senses.
Yeah.
I mean, that complemented by the strong vanilla character is the two predominant aspects that I get on the nose.
Yeah, very nice. I'm right there with you. Let's hear from the master himself, Ari. What do you pick up on the nose on this one, man?
I think you guys covered a lot of it, and I think between properly aged Kentucky bourbon, then augmentation with American oak toasted barrels, and augmentation with French oak toasted barrels, there's a lot there, and everyone is sensitive to different compounds. Right, you can put the same whiskey in front of people, and if they're not sitting in a room like this, they can have vastly different tasting notes, because by the 2 mature whiskeys, 2 additional woods from different woods with different structure, there's a lot going on there. So there's individual things, and you've mentioned a lot of them. Like I get that pastry or that almond or the caramel or the sweetness is definitely there. The spice is definitely there. What we were trying to achieve here was a sort of harmonious balance. This is us kind of talking about how, just like in music, you have these different things coming together. Hopefully these different hopefully you can create some harmony, some balance through characteristics in the music. And this is conversations that Neil, our founder, has had with Michael and I for almost a decade now. When he's putting sounds together, he's looking for things that might fit together. You got to find how they fit together. Our initial conversation ages ago was, what he's doing in the studio is very similar to what he's doing in the music studio is similar to what we're doing in the blending studio.
Right.
So there are individual notes. We've talked about a lot of them, but what we're really after is playing with balance and harmony and like mixing and mastering and trying to figure out how the notes can complement each other or juxtapose or counterpunch all. And that's what I'm really proud of with this product, because it's all there and it's pretty well integrated. If you add ice, if you mix it into a cocktail, these different characteristics can be accentuated.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one thing I did notice when I got the bottles out, because the first thing I noticed was how cool the labels were. Second thing I noticed was proof, 90 proof, because we talked about the lower proof, and everything was always an odd proof with you guys. So that was kind of the first. I noticed the second one. I'm not going to go into it yet, but it does have that odd numbered proof. But these other ones are all even numbered. So how big of a fight was that to get to the point where there was an agreement to actually go from the 87, or I can't remember what the numbers were. It's like 103, 87, 81, something like that. So they were all odd numbered proofs, right? So how'd that happen?
like any great band, right? There's conversation and then there's evolution. And we evolved into a deviation here.
Gotcha. Yeah, it was funny because honestly, that was like the second thing, because I saw the labels. I'm like, damn, these are cool. And then the next thing I was like, what are the proofs? And then I saw the proofs.
It's funny.
And I'm like, what's going on here, man? they're even numbers.
You have a very good memory.
Very good.
That was a long time ago. So yeah, well done. And it's because our R&D process, how we evolved these spirits from prototypes to finished product to core expression. Ultimately, it's blind taste testing, right? Ultimately, that's what's going to get you to the right product, and without preconceived proof points of any kind, and just let the whiskey do what it's going to do. So that's how we ended up with this blend. That's how we ended up with these particular woods coming together, and how we ended at the proof as well.
Very, very cool. Guys, let's shift focus a little bit. Michael, again, first time guest. So let's hear a little bit about you. I'm sure our listeners are wondering, who is Michael Nanula?
Yes.
So give us a background on how, well, basically just, your background and then how you got into the whiskey industry and how you got mixed up with these guys.
Yeah, it's a great story, and I'm incredibly thankful that I was able to experience it and continue to. So, back in 2016, I had the opportunity to meet with Neil Giraldo, and it was kind of a happenstance. My uncle, and I'll go a little bit further back. So I come from a multi-generational business family here in upstate Western New York in the Buffalo area, and my grandfather was a founder of a supermarket chain called Tops Friendly Markets. And it was a chain that really expanded because of its focus on the customer. And, the core tenets of the business were take care of the customer and the customer will take care of you. And my family kind of built its business empire around that core tenet. And so from my father and his three brothers, then all being in business together, and then myself and my cousins, my 13 cousins, all being kind of partners in the family businesses. And the family businesses range from a home building company called Essex Homes. It's one of the largest home builders here in Western New York. It's been in business for 30 years now, to large convenience store chains in which we acquired back from the company that we sold my grandfather's foundational stores to. But at the end of the day, it was a happenstance meeting when one of my uncles and a dear friend of Neil's that spurred the introduction. And he was doing some business with a large bakery manufacturer here in Western New York, and came across my father, who does a lot of private label brand development for celebrity chefs, guys like Buddy Valastro and Paula Deen and so on. And he said, hey, Steve Nanula, you got to meet this guy, Neil Giraldo. He's starting out. He's getting into the bourbon business, and he's got this phenomenal whiskey maker that he's met up in Detroit area. And my dad's like, well, I'll try the whiskey. I'll see what it's like. So my dad tried it, and long story short, he's like, oh, you got to get Neil to come here and come into Buffalo. So Neil, did a detour from his tour and made a trip to Buffalo. And I was actually doing a gig. I'm a singer, so I'm a musician.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was doing a gig up the street, and I said, oh, I'll stop in and say hello. I'm a big whiskey connoisseur myself. I'll test the wares and see what this is all about. And long story short, this was 2016, and we all kind of gelled at the first meeting. And Neil's passion for this business came out in that first encounter. And I have a financial services background, and grew up working in the stores, working in the retail stores and in the grocery business. So I just kind of was around the initial brainstorming phase of the company, and pretty quickly determined, okay, this is two passions kind of coming together: my passion for and love for music, and then this unbelievable opportunity to have a mentor like Neil Giraldo, and then my love for whiskey and the craft of whiskey making and brand building, most importantly. It was just a phenomenal opportunity. So it started off as kind of a sales manager, moved up to the director of marketing over time, then to the chief commercial officer, and then most recently took the very honored to take the position as the chief executive officer of the company.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's great. I'm not going to say this to many people, but you know what? People tell me I have really nice hair, but Michael, I'm going to tell you, man, you got a great story, but man, you got some great hair. And I don't know, this may be your first and only appearance on the podcast, because I don't know that I can compete with, I'm just going to throw that out there, man.
well, thank you. It's the, it doesn't hurt to have the little poof from the headphones.
Yeah.
Right?
Headphones give a little
props
lift.
It up a little lift. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Well, that's a great story, man. I love it. The fact that you're CEO now, man, that's huge. And it just speaks volumes as to, the trust that they put in you, and also the work that you've done. Cause like I said, I've communicated together, man, for probably 5 years now, it seems like. So, it's awesome to see how you've grown with the company and the company itself, but that's just great, man. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's an honor.
Ari, you're kind of old hat, but let's rehash. Let's get a Cliff Note version of Ari.
We've been over this.
Go back to episodes 123 or 154 and episode 12. And you guys were episode 12, man. We had just gotten started. Yeah. You and Neil, man, were episode 12. So thank you guys for
you upgraded your mic from that episode.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting there.
That's
and funny. Neil's like, Mark, your voice just doesn't sound quite right on that microphone. I'm sitting there like Neil Giraldo is like critiquing my audio, and I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do, man?
Should be texting me like, lay off, Neil.
Like, come on, Neil.
Let's talk about it afterwards. No, but he's very honest when it comes to everything, and if he hears something, he's talking about it.
Oh, sure.
But to answer your question, I've been incredibly lucky to get into this, to find this industry relatively early, with a background of somewhere between being an itinerant winemaker and an occasional bartender to being able to run, having the privilege of running the business incubator and accelerator at Michigan State University that worked with 100 or so spirits brands and developed hundreds of commercially available products, and just being in the right place at the right time, and then meeting people like Neil Giraldo and the Nanula family, and all kinds of people. So I've just been incredibly fortunate to be a full-time whiskey maker at this point for about a decade and a half, which is bonkers to me.
That is awesome.
And to know guys like you for a long time as well.
Well, that's what to say, man. It's been our honor and privilege to get to know you and to be able to hang out with you as well, in person even too, which is great. It's a lot of fun when we're off the record and just kind of chilling out and hanging out and having some cocktails or drinks together, man. So that's always a good time. So guys, let's jump back because we're almost at the end of round one, but I want to get in on the palate and finish on this flip side. So Matt, what do you pick up in terms of the palate and the finish on this one?
Good and spicy right up front on the palate. I love the French oak really comes across, I think, bringing a little bit of that heat, some of that spice, almost like the spicier side of like mulled wine type flavors. So kind of those like rich, dark fruits, but good and bold and spicy. Then that sweetness, that vanilla, some of that caramel carries across on the palate as well. It's not overly thick. It certainly coats the mouth well, leaves a nice flavor. It's good drinking whiskey. I think it's a great introduction to Three Chord, and not just giving someone a blended product, which I know you all wouldn't just blend a product and put it out, but this is done with intention of adding French oak, adding toasted American oak for the reason of coming up with this flavor, with this profile. So everything was done with intention, and it shows. It comes across really well. You can tell that this product wasn't just thrown together and proofed to 90 and given to the market.
Yeah, that's a good point, Matt. It's true that the spice comes through, and I kind of picked that up a little bit on the nose. But yeah, once it hits the palate, and Ari, you talked about that blend, what you're looking for, the balance, right? The balance of sweet, the balance of spice. And you get that with this. You get that spice, but then like Matt said, that sweetness comes back, that vanilla, those typical bourbon flavors, that sweetness that comes through on a nice Kentucky bourbon, 6 to 8 years old. You really pick that up, but you also pick up those additional spices that come from that oak and that secondary finishing. It's a really well balanced bourbon. And at 90 proof, it's funny because I think that spice tricks my palate to make me think it's hotter than 90 proof. Because when I first tasted it, I was like 90, like, am I right? This is 90 proof, right? But then after you take a couple sips, you get used to that spiciness. It balances out well. But yeah, I think this is one, and this would make a great cocktail too, I think, for me, because that spice does come through really nice. It does have the sweetness to it as well, but it does have a nice spiciness that I think would shine through in a cocktail. So yeah, I really like this, man. So
with a little bit of sweet vermouth, the spice still comes through. So you get I'm partial to a Manhattan. That's a go-to. But I don't like a cloying Manhattan. Having that extra, a little spice backbone to it can counteract sort of the heavy hand of the bartender sometimes. The other thing that I wanted to point out here is this image on the label itself. The whiskey is sort of engineered for complexity. It's engineered because of the blending and because of the finishing to hopefully spur conversations, right? Yeah. What do you taste? And we want to get conversations going. But there's a really kind of bonkers picture on the front of this. Our labels look like album covers, and this is a picture of a guitar player doing what looks like a backflip while playing guitar in a room that's clearly very small because there's people close to him. Like, it's a dangerous scene.
Absolutely.
What's going on here? And so not only is the whiskey designed to be a conversation piece, but the bottle itself, this particular picture was, in a sense, the inspiration for the entire redesign. We fell in love with this picture, knowing nothing about who is in it, who took it. We just loved the vibe of the picture. And so by doing a reverse Google search, we figured out that it's a guy named Guitar Shorty. He actually passed away like 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And we reached out to his estate, which was a whole nother kind of very interesting rabbit hole to go down. And then we were introduced to the photographer who took the picture. We learned that he's a really famous, amazing concert photographer who's been at it for 50 years. And
Wow.
it opened this world to us of live, kinetic imagery and concert photography, where we decided, when you're walking down the aisle of the liquor store, it, frankly, is a little boring. There's a lot of maroons and golds and blacks and horses and that's all wonderful, but it's become incredibly predictable. What if just for a couple of feet while you're walking down the liquor store aisle, it was a little bit like a gallery, like live concert photography for a minute, and let's just stop and look at what's going on here. And so this is a guy named Guitar Shorty, and Larry Holst from Colorado took the picture and was all too happy to let us put it on the front of a bottle.
Very, very cool. So guys, back to that palate and finish. What do you guys pick up? Michael, I'm gonna throw it to you, man.
Sure. I'm getting a lot of caramel on my palate.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That sweetness, that vanilla caramel kind of comes through. Yeah, for sure. Ari, what else is out there?
Graham cracker. You mentioned white chocolate. I also get some dark chocolate. I mean that's in there too. Part of it is like there's definitely there's all the cinnamon and clove and vanilla and ginger snaps and kind of all those nice spices that you talked about mulled wine. These are all characteristics that we look for, in a great mixing for cocktails, like you said, but also if you throw an ice cube in here, and as the ice melts and the water pulls out more of those water soluble compounds, because of just the amount of compounds in here from the two different whiskeys and the two different additional woods, with an ice cube, it just evolves in the glass and actually gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter.
Well, I'm going to have to try that because I already killed this one. Well, guys, we're at the end of round one here. So why don't we take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back with more with Michael Nanula and Ari Sussman with Three Chord Bourbon in just a minute.
Three Chord's line of whiskeys embody the spirit of creativity. The whiskey is a true collaboration between producer and composer Neil Giraldo and master blender distiller Ari Sussman. The Three Chord team of expert blenders, coopers, and sensory professionals have developed a multi-step process they call Perfectly Tuned Taste. This process begins by carefully selecting the finest bourbon and rye whiskeys from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and then blending them together. Find out more about the whiskeys and distribution in your area at www.threechordbourbon.com.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for round two of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here live tonight in the Bourbon Life studios, it is my good friend, my bourbon drinking buddy, Matt. Matt, how you doing out there, man?
Mark, I'm doing great out here. How are you in there, in your office?
I'm doing great in here,
Your
Matt.
repurposed office.
The repurposed office? Yeah, man. I've got all the stuff set up in here. This is great. Like Command Central. Feels good. You're looking good out there, though, Matt, with the whole setup, man. It's been a long time since we've done this, it feels like.
Yeah, we had to dust off the computer, dust off the camera. It's one of us forgot our password to get in their email.
Yeah. You know what? It's okay, Matt. We're rolling now. We got great guests.
Absolutely.
Here. We are having a good time. We got some more great expressions to taste through. So Matt, let's just get right to it, man. You want to tell everybody who we have with us tonight?
Absolutely. Speaking of those great guests, we've got Michael Nanula, the CEO, and Ari Sussman, whiskey maker from Three Chord Bourbon, back for round two. Gents, welcome on to the show again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for not leaving.
Yeah. Now you can't get rid of us.
I told a bad joke just before we started round two. I'm happy you guys stuck around. So
I'm happy we weren't recording for it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, well, guys, this round we got something else poured up, and this one I think we have tasted it before. I don't remember if we did it on the show. I can't remember. I think we may have, but anyway, let's talk about what we have poured up for this round. So, whoever wants to talk about this next one,
yeah, I'll lead in. I'll lead in with the expression "Strange Collab." This is our carryover from what we affectionately refer to as Volume 1 of Three Chord. So this is our carryover product into the portfolio of Volume 2. We dropped the Asian and just now refer to it as Strange Collab. Collab. But this was a product originally started as a single barrel initiative. And it was a partnership with the Strange Family Vineyards. And Neil Giraldo, our founder, and Brian Strange, the owner of Strange Family Vineyards, go fairly far back. Neil's daughter dated Brian's son, and
that's right.
Young man by the name of Johnny Strange, and Johnny was an adventurer, thrill seeker. He was the youngest at one point. I believe he still may be. To have climbed all 7 summits.
Wow.
Yeah, and Neil was fortunate to have a really nice role as a mentor to Johnny prior to his untimely passing at 23 years of age. So we kind of took the inspiration from his way of living and thinking outside the box, and applied it to Strange Collab in a barrel pick where Ari blended up another phenomenal expression to a blend of 2 different straight Kentucky bourbons, and then decided to finish them in Pinot Noir barrels from the Strange Family Vineyard. And then lo and behold, I believe it was it was our 4th expression to ever be released in the market, right? So it was right after 12 Bar Reserve. And that single barrel became one of our core portfolio members pretty quickly. So Ari, if you want to talk maybe a little bit about the process which led you down the path of the development of Strange Collab.
It was a while ago. And Mark, you had mentioned that you actually got a very early prototype or sample of it.
That's right.
Because it started as a very small project. It was just going to be a small-time fundraiser, but someone didn't tell the distributor that it was limited, and so they kept on sending us more POs. And we said, okay, well, we might as well fulfill these POs. It's going to be a couple months. And again, it was a blend of a low rye and high rye Kentucky bourbon, 2 straight Kentucky bourbons. The initial formulation was like a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. Now it's a little bit older than that. Finished in Pinot Noir casks for 3 to 6 months. Now 6 months is about our regular. Before 6 months was kind of at the longer side, but as we've scaled up, it's kind of managing the program. And as a wine guy, right? I was a wine guy before I was a whiskey guy. I have this affection for Pinot Noir, because it's kind of like I don't know. In some senses, it's like the anemic cousin to Cabernet in Merlot and some of these larger. Yeah, it just doesn't have as much, but it has a personality all of its own with aromatics, and it's not big and robust and bold. It's subtle, and we like that, right? It's just like a little hint of viscosity. It changes the mouthfeel, comes through a little bit on the nose. You can sense it a little bit in the finish, but it's not this like overwhelming grape character. So we love playing around with Pinot Noir barrels. Cabernet barrels are great too, for sure. But Pinot Noir has its own thing, and the fact that the Strange family makes a really great Pinot Noir in the Santa Rita Hills, right? Really pristine wine country. It was really great, and it started, like we said, as 1 barrel, and then it went to 4. And now I think, at all times we have 30 some Pinot Noir barrels always with bourbon in them, and they're kind of circulating through, not like a true Solera system, but there is some moving around of whiskey, and we certainly have some of our favorite barrels, and it's always fun deciding if a batch is which barrels we're going to pull from for any given batch, and it's a incredibly fun process, and the fact that it's personal to Neil, it's personal to us as a company always makes it batching it up pretty fun.
Yeah, and this one isn't 99 proof. So
we kept it at 99 proof.
We kept the 99.
It's a carryover.
Strange collaboration. Everyone was calling it Strange Collab.
All right.
The folks
Yeah,
at the liquor
right.
stores were calling. We were internally on phone calls. We're like, Strange Collab. We need more cases of Strange Collab. So we're like, when it's time to rebrand it, let's just call it what we're calling it. A collab is also a musical term, right? Like,
Right,
you
right.
hear a lot about people doing collabs. And then we thought it would be fun because it was inspired by this relationship. Our founder was part of it, to actually put a picture of our founder on the bottle, which we'd never done before.
Yeah.
But we found this great sort of guitar god image of him.
It is, man.
And he's just, shredding. And what you can't tell, another sort of Easter egg is Mark, if you look at that picture, there's another guy in that picture, right? It's not just Neil.
Right.
And Michael, you want to talk a little bit about who that other guy is?
So that is the shot of the side profile of Rick Derringer. So Rick was the gentleman that really discovered Neil, and put Neil's career into the trajectory that we all know it to be today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a very early.
We only lost him a couple months ago.
Just a couple months ago, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. The only negative about that picture, it looks like Neil's wearing an Alabama shirt, man. So
which he is. Good eye. Again, like labels have function.
Exactly.
A label should be like an invitation into a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
A whiskey, if it's doing its job, right, is good in and of itself, and you can kind of geek out and just be one, get to know the spirit. But hopefully the label and the packaging tells you something about the brand. And if you're sitting next to someone at the bar or at a party, you can pick up a bottle, and if it doesn't spur a conversation, it's not doing all that it could do. And so we wanted to make sure to kind of load these bottles up with those those prompts.
Well, and that to that point, because that's one of the things that I love about the whiskey culture and the music culture, and one of the through lines I think that play in between both of them, and that we wanted to not only utilize the label to achieve that, but even the back cover, you'll notice there's these QR code play buttons. Yeah. And if you scan that, it brings you to our media player. So each SKU has its own media player where Ari will literally walk you through all of these product details. So, even if you're by yourself, you could still kind of engage in that process of discovery, not only with the juice, but with the label art and the back cover and the story and the artist that's on it. And that's one of the things that we really wanted to do with this brand update. It was kind of, that Jungian evolution, kind of playing it safe and doing everything kind of by the book and the way everybody else in the industry was doing it. And now kind of taking the mask off and saying, let's dive down the pathways that we've always wanted to explore. Let's do some things that we think are exciting and interesting, and then as well try to offer our fans or our customers or our consumers a pathway into that experience as well. And so that's the genesis behind the play button.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea, man. I mean, that's great. But let Neil know I'm going to send him a Kentucky shirt, so he can support.
Did you get a chance to scan any of the back labels, Mark?
I did not, but I will. I saw the label, but I did not scan it. But I will do that. Yeah, for sure. Check that out.
Oh, you know what I have? I don't know. I don't have it next to me. I'll save this for hard pressed because I brought all these bottles home in a box, and I want to show you. Even our boxes are pretty funky these days, but we'll wait until the next
Matt, let's talk about the nose on this one. I don't think we've done that yet. So we get engaged. I forget.
Yeah,
I get sidetracked.
You're very good with keeping the format, I got to say.
I'm trying.
We're off our game, though. Usually we'd run a tighter ship.
It's Michael's hair. It's his hair, man. I just can't stop.
It's vamping. It's vamping you. It's just a wig. I'll just take it off after the shoot.
Peel it off. Yeah. Oh, damn.
It comes with the earphones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just all one piece. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, all right, Matt. What do you get? Taste or nosing notes on this one, man?
First things I really pick up are some of the additions of Ari. You said this was a blend of high and low rye. I think some of the high rye really comes through for me. There's a good nose of some sweet graham cracker, kind of pie crust, which leads into sort of a sweet mint and some of the herbal notes that I pick up from a high rye. And then Ari, you said the word aromatics when you were talking about the Pinot Noir influence, and I think that's a really good way to describe the influence of that Pinot Noir, the Pinot Noir barrels in this blend. Is it's not like a Cabernet or a Merlot that is very kind of blow you away, big and bold, but there's just this aromatic note about it that I think really helps to play. You had mentioned earlier also sort of some things playing in harmony and some things going juxtaposed to the bourbon itself. And I think some of those notes really add from the Pinot Noir really add to the nose of the base bourbon itself. And some of them really contradict and in the best sort of way, sort of give reason for thought and for intentionality.
Wow. I don't know how to follow that, but
that
I'm
is
just going to say
really good note, man.
I mean, damn. I get the mintiness Matt talked about.
Yeah.
I almost get like a grassiness as well with this from that rye. Almost like I think of like when I walk out into a field or something that's just been freshly cut, and you kind of get that wonderful aroma of that fresh cut grass, and then combined with that mint as well. There's all that the wine I think gives it it's almost like a dry, like a raisin, maybe like a golden raisin or something like that. Some type of sweetness that I'm really picking up on this. It's a fruitiness though. But also I think, you get those flavors from the aromas from that bourbon as well that come through. But I think that wine really blends well with that and adds an additional layer of sweetness that you're not going to get just from the bourbon itself. But yeah, I mean, this is really nice. So Ari, I'm going to throw it to you this time. What else do you get on the nosy notes?
Well, I think that herbaceousness I think is really nice. I like a little bit of grassiness. I like to be reminded that when you drink whiskey, you're drinking an agricultural product. You're drinking essentially the juice of a grass, primarily corn, which is a grass, and the rye influences in there. But I think for me, the aromatics from the wine barrel are kind of what pop out and differentiate it. There's almost even a leather characteristic, and that comes from a wine barrel that's been sort of oxidized and used a bunch of times. And you said pie or cherry pie or pie crust. Since you said that, it's been a pretty dominant characteristic for me. I pick up the pie, absolutely.
Yeah, Michael, what about you? Anything else standing out on the
nose?
nose?
The only additional note that I get on the nose is it's more than a menthol. I get like a eucalyptus note.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Very nice. Yeah, this is a really nice combination of aromas coming out here. So guys, we've talked about the rebrand. So yes, you came out, you had there was the bourbon, there was the Amplify Rye, and then what was it, 12 Bar Reserve, was that right? Yeah. So those were those were the baseline products at first, and in the Strange collaboration, was that right? It's number 4.
Yes.
Yeah. So now you've rebranded. But talking a little bit about the history of the brand itself, just for people that may not be familiar with Three Chord, just so they have an understanding of really where it came from, and your founder. Obviously, we've talked about Neil. The fact that he has an Alabama shirt on, I'll never forget that. But beyond that,
you could redact that. A little controversy never hurts at the shelf.
That's right.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah. So yeah, the brand started as an idea back in 2016 when Neil was working on a documentary about his life coming up in the Cleveland rock and roll scene and a lot of the unheralded artists that he grew up with. And he said, okay, why don't we go out and partner up with a whiskey brand, as whiskey and music go hand in hand. And whiskey's such a great catalyst for conversation. We'll bring them onto the set. We'll we'll have people sip and enjoy, and let the spirit kind of guide them through conversation and open up a little bit more, as it tends to do. And
it happens that way.
It does.
Yeah, it seems to happen
it
like
does.
that.
And he said, well, we have to, to use Matt's terminology, there has to be some intentionality with the brand that we select. So he is very deliberate in going out and trying to figure out what brand is kind of speaks to the way that I view, the music culture, and highlights artists that, maybe have not gotten a massive brand deal opportunity. And he pretty quickly surmised that there really was not a brand in the category that highlighted artists in that way, and worked with artists, and decided to really tell stories. I mean, there's a lot of great collaborations with brands and massively famous artists, as we all are well aware of.
Right.
But there wasn't a brand that really created a community of artists and creatives. So that's really what Neil, when he met with me the first time that I had met him, really voiced. And that was kind of my heeding of the call. As soon as I heard him say that, I'm like, all right, this is an interesting project here.
Yeah.
So that really kind of set the brand off into 2017 in a lot of development, working with Ari and really refining the initial products, and then 2018 bringing the product out, the initial product out into the marketplace, first off in Michigan and then into New York State. And then, we experienced COVID, which was,
right.
a bit of a setback. But during that process, we were able to build community in different ways, reaching out to artists, reaching out to folks like yourselves that were building an audience online and connecting with people, and, kind of helping folks get through this really incredibly difficult time. And that's where it really solidified to me, somebody that was kind of always an observer outside of the industry, just how unbelievably gracious and welcoming everybody in this industry really is. And that's, I think, where the brand really started to take off. We started doing a lot more experimenting. We started letting Ari really go into the blending studio and get creative and work with Neil on, Neil kind of being almost like the producer, saying, here's the vision of what I want to see come to fruition. And then Ari, like the technician or the engineer, kind of coming up and doing all the blocking and tackling to get that product to formation. And then myself and the rest of our team, which we're so blessed to have such an unbelievable group of individuals kind of come into our orbit over the years and grow the company, from, our new director of marketing, who is formerly our Tennessee director of sales, Ryan Gill, who is a concert promoter for a decade, and then spent 15 years running stores and doing barrel picks and so on. I always refer to him as the most utopian three-chord employee you could ever imagine. But we've kind of built this band, as Neil refers to it as, the greatest band in the spirits industry, of people that have all these kind of connections to music, but also connections to the spirits industry. And we've been very fortunate to have had a lot of success and experience some really wonderful innovations. And we're only really getting started now with this evolution in the brand and to volume 2. We're going into some uncharted territories that are familiar to us, but maybe very unique to consumers when they see it out on the shelves. But we're very excited to hear the feedback.
You brought up Ryan Gill, and I did want to just highlight that one of the big things that, just to bring everyone up to speed on some what's been going on at Three Chord is he came to a meeting one day with a very well thought out argument for starting essentially collaborations with bands, legacy bands, up and coming bands, or there's you don't just have to collaborate with the A-lister at the very top. what does collaboration between whiskey makers and bands look like at every level? And he came with the idea of the Backstage series, which was really a pivotal moment, I think, for us as a company. Where in the past couple of years we've worked with 20 bands in developing new spirits, proprietary blends, things that don't exist anywhere else, and it's part of a collaborative process. And it's everyone from, certainly folks I'd never heard of before, who I've gotten to know as people, as whiskey blenders, and now as musicians. Up and coming folks like the Cadillac 3 was an early one in Lucero, to up and coming country acts like Drake White, to folks that I grew up listening to, like the Allman Brothers, who decided like, we want to have fun in whiskey, we're going to call Three Chord. And there's quite a few more Backstage series that are coming up. But just the idea that Three Chord as a whiskey company could become this platform for musicians to create new products and then offer them to their audience base, bringing greatly expanding our audience base, has been a really fantastic experience.
And the beautiful thing is that it all starts with the origin of the goal that Neil wanted to achieve, which was building a community of artists that allow artists to enter into this category and experiment and create.
And I remember during COVID, you guys were so committed to the artists and the people that were out there that were really struggling, having a hard time, man. You guys did a great job and really stepped up and helped out a lot of people. And it spoke volumes again as to the type of company you guys are, the type of leadership and vision that you guys have as well. And I thought that was just really great of you guys to do that. And it's been fun, man, because I mean, Ari, like I said, you and Neil were on 12th guest. That was probably back in April of 2020. I mean, so we're 5.5 years down the road, man. And it's been a lot of fun to watch you guys grow and develop and change and just everything that's going on. It's been a lot of fun to sit back and be like, I feel like I was one of the first, like it was early 2020 and I remember these guys.
It's been a wild ride.
It has been.
I'm sure. I can't imagine, man, but kudos to you guys for keeping it going and reevaluating and making the changes and doing things and listening to your consumers and finding that niche where you can make that difference and do what you want to do and be creative with the whiskey and just, create some great products. So I feel like I'm wrapping up the show. It's like, I'm not really headed that way. It's like, we're still in round 2, but it's like, man, how did I get to that point? Let's talk about because we are at the end of round 2. So let's talk about the note or the palate and the finish on this Strange Collab. Matt, what do you get, man?
It's good and spicy. I think the Pinot influence is felt right up front. There's like nice black pepper, good baking spice, almost like a little bit of stewed red fruit aromas on it. Then kind of leads into those bourbon notes. We were talking about the high rye that we were all picking up on the nose. I think a lot of that comes through in the palate. There's sort of that baking spice, pie crust, graham cracker, nice sweet kind of long vanilla finish that the wine influence kind of comes around with those aromatics just playing nicely on the finish. So really well done.
Yeah. And this one again, it's funny because we talked about that with the flip side, right? Flip side. Yeah. I was making sure I had it right. The flip side, the spiciness, that harmony, that balance between spice and sweet. And I get it on this. I mean, different flavors, but still that combination, that balance. It's spicy, like Matt said. And again, I think that spiciness tricks my palate to think it's hotter than 99 proof. I mean, for some reason, when I taste it, I'm like, it just hit me as warmer than a 99 proof. But yeah, Matt, it's funny because it's almost like, I get almost like a floral aftertaste on it. And I guess maybe that's from the Pinot. I don't know, but it's just it's unique because it's spicy and sweet. And then there's like this little hint in the herbaceousness, maybe almost like a floral hint on the end of it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's another, floral is another earthy note. As far as I'm concerned, anything that's kind of agriculture, right? Whether it's it's grass or mint, or you guys are picking up on all of the stuff in there.
Nice. I feel like I'm almost as good as Matt. Matt's the king, so just trying to keep up with it. What about you guys, Michael? Anything else stand out with you on the palate?
Yeah, I always get a harkening back to mulled wine with this expression.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. Ari, how about you? Anything else stand out?
Yeah, I just like the way it opens up in a glass. I think that just like Pinot Noir or any wine will open up in a glass, whiskey also opens up in a glass, and just letting it aerate for a little while just shifts it. That your first sip is not going to be the same as the last sip. So, in addition to looking at the harmony, just watching it change over time, or with a couple of drops of water, see how well it opens up. This is because of the influence of, the Pinot Noir is also in French oak. And so just having these different influences, just time and dilution, you can sit with the glass and watch it change over time. And that's really pleasant.
Yeah, very, very nice. Well, guys, we're at the end of round 2. Let's take a quick break, get a word from our sponsors. We'll come back with more with Michael Nanula and Ari Sussman. How many drinks have I had tonight?
Yeah, right.
Man, Michael Nanula and Ari Sussman with Three Chord Bourbon in just a minute. Welcome to the kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company, where every visit is a celebration of tradition and flavor. Did you know that the kitchen table is nestled right within the heart of the distillery? That's right. You can experience the essence of James B. Beam's legacy while savoring their delectable dishes. Join them every Wednesday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a culinary journey like no other. Planning a special event? Let the kitchen table be your host, creating unforgettable memories for you and your guests. And don't miss their upcoming Claremont Supper Club event on October 16th, featuring new releases from their Hardens Creek series. For more information and reservations, visit beamdistilling.com. The kitchen table at James B. Beam Distilling Company. Come as a friend, leave as family. All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and sadly final round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight live still in my basement, the Bourbon Life Studios, it is my good friend, Matt. Matt, how you doing out there in the green room, the yellow room, whatever we call it?
Oh, Mark, I'm good out here. Everything is coming back to us now, right? We're hitting our groove.
Like Celine Dion, man. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
This is a music show, isn't it? I mean, am I not supposed to sing? Come on. Man.
Yeah, so we
love some Celine Dion over here at Three Chord.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. Matt, I'm glad you stuck around, man. I'm sorry I won't sing anymore. I promise. I won't do that.
That's fine. You can sing if you want to. You can dance if you want to, in fact.
You can leave your friends behind.
But I'm not going to leave my friend behind. Okay?
I appreciate that.
Matt, before I completely derail, tell everybody who we have with us on this show. If they're just tuning in randomly for the third round.
That's right. If you just push play and fast forwarded 45 minutes in for some reason.
For some weird reason.
Yeah. I mean, it could weirder things have happened.
You never know.
We've got Michael Nanula, who is the CEO, and Ari Sussman, the whiskey maker at Three Chord Bourbon, and they've got it set out we've got our work ahead of us on this round here, Mark. Right? So we got to get a couple different expressions. Yeah, so
focused.
That's right. What
absolutely.
What are we sitting with here, guys?
Guys, we are very happy to present to you our new rye whiskey that we call Riot.
That's awesome. I love the name.
And we've talked in the two previous expressions about the rye influence in those whiskeys, and from previous conversations that I'm a little bit of a rye geek. And so when we decided to come out with sort of our Three Chord version 1.0, we had a rye called Amplify Rye. Really fantastic product. We wanted to kind of ramp it up. We did have the idea, Amplify Rye was 95 proof. We decided that we wanted to bring our rye whiskey expression up to bottled and bond strength.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so we started getting samples of all the bottled and bond ryes we could find, and having blind taste tests and determining which ryes we liked at 100 proof. Came down to final two. And rather than just choose one and get rid of the other, we started blending them in different proportions, and came up with the idea of, what do you call a whiskey that's two bottled and bond ryes? We said, let's call it double bonded. And as kind of a lark, we sent that to the TTB and said, we think we want to come out with a double bonded. and they said, as long as you write where you got them from on the back label, which is part of the bottled and bond law, so as long as you say which two distilleries they came from, go ahead. And so this is officially the first double bonded whiskey that we're aware of or that anyone's ever heard of. And it just started as, we didn't want to choose between two great options, and we found a synthesis of those two that we felt like really heightened it. Rye, we think, is in a sense the most punk rock of all the grains. We love rye. And we think it's ridiculous that so many ryes just have green labels. And we say this as a company that formerly had a green rye label because we were trying to fit it. I mean, that was our aesthetic, as we were trying to do what other people were doing. We hadn't yet really achieved the sort of level of maturity when we're like, we're just trying to do what we love and express what we love. Rye is the most punk rock of all the grains for a lot of reasons. It's loud, it's rustic, it has, it doesn't round off its edges. And so we decided, instead of like putting a picture of a green horse on a bottle of rye, let's make it hot pink and let's put like a super hot punk band on it. Nice. And that's what we have here. If you look at it, it's a band called the Darts, an incredibly charismatic, fun punk band. They're actually on tour right now. And the lead singer does this great thing where she puts her leg over the keyboards and really bangs it out. If you want to have fun, get on YouTube and look up the Darts. They're absolutely fantastic. If you want to have even more fun, go see them when they come through town, because they're on tour. But we thought it would be fun to kind of play up the Riot Girl, punk rock, colors that you don't generally see. And the label's also a little bit sexy. And that is something that is very lacking in the whiskey world. So we wanted to kind of take all these things that we love that are part of it, and we put it on the label.
I think it's great. Something I just noticed on this one too. The labels actually have a circle in them, like the old records where they had been pressed so hard against the cover that they would wear that circle around, right?
I love that. You picked up on that.
I picked up on that little nugget.
Little Easter eggs are hidden all throughout these expressions.
The more you look at them, the more you'll recognize record things.
Yeah, okay. Because I thought I was seeing stuff, and I'm like, nope. I checked the other label. I'm like, they all have the circle, man. So it's like, and if you've never owned a record, people like, you may not understand it, but if you've ever seen an old record, it's like guys in Eastern Kentucky that carried skull cans in their pocket. They got their dip. You got the ring and the blue jeans. I mean, it's kind of the same principle.
Exactly.
Right?
The weathering mark of the skull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so Matt, what do you pick up? I know we got to get through two different expressions. So let's talk about what you pick up on the nose on this Riot.
It's gone a couple different ways. When it was first poured up, I got a lot of those really familiar, lovely rye spice notes, a little bit of grassy, a little bit grainy. There was mint, but underneath all of it, there was kind of this creamy sort of vanilla sweetness. As it's sitting in the glass now, I think that creamy note is starting to play a little bit more into it. And I get a lot of honey. I get like honey, nice, like almost springtime floral honeysuckle type note. And it's just fun to see it transform from like very typical, lovely herbal, grassy, grainy rye to now this sweeter, kind of thicker, more like fresh and springtime type nose. And it's lovely to see it take that progression. That's nice, Matt. Because I noticed that as well. You obviously said it much more eloquently than I can. And the honey didn't, it stands out now that you said it, of course, but I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was a light sweetness. But it was like really weird because it was spicy, like you said, or it was the mintiness, the grassiness, the herbalness up front. And then it started transitioning, and I picked up almost like a dark sugar, brown sugar type of rich sweetness. But now it's almost like lighter, and it's turning into that light, like a honey, like you said. Mm-hmm. It's really weird, man, that it's changed in the glass that much, but it really, and I'm not going to say leather, but I don't know why I have leather in my mind, but
throw a couple of even drops of water, and that balance will change further.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is what happens. Two rye has a lot of flavors going on, and again, when you blend them together or when you dilute them a little bit further, the matrix changes, and you'll start pulling out different characteristics. And we love the evolution of if your first sip tastes exactly like the last sip, well, there's a place for that. But it's nice to hear something that evolves and changes over time. Like a song. It doesn't have to start the same way it doesn't have to end the same way it starts. It can evolve over time. And whiskey in a glass, and the 20 minutes you're sitting there, right, drinking that glass and thinking about it should change.
Well, guys, we talked about the first two we did were Kentucky straight bourbons. This one is a blend of two different ryes, one Kentucky, I think one Indiana, correct?
And you can just pick up the back of the bottle and we'll tell you exactly where it came from. We're very transparent about our processes. So these are two ryes. One comes from Bardstown and one comes from Lawrenceburg. And we write that right on the bottle. We're very proud of the whiskeys that we're putting into these bottles, and we want to share with people where we're getting them.
So with Bardstown, because I know they're big into contract distilling, are they doing contract distilling with you guys, or have you guys got into that area of production, or are you still I don't want to say just, but are you buying barrels from Bardstown, or are they distilling product for you guys?
We have had a really wonderful custom manufacturing relationship with Bardstown since they started. We've been putting away whiskey there for a very long time. We were, I think, one of the first distillers to come and visit their facility as they were still putting it up. We actually have, 4 years ago, we started putting away some really nice experimental mash bills, some 4 grains, which are now just coming into maturity, which we're going to start bringing up. We've been working with Bardstown for a really long time. We're huge fans. And we have got some very unique mash bills coming out of there.
Guys, let's talk about the palate and the finish. I know it's kind of quick because we got another expression to get through. But Matt, what do you pick up in terms of palate and finish on this Riot?
Palate for me, I get a lot of mint comes through. It's almost like a mint and honey tea notes on there. There's some spice to round it all off. Good herbal complexity at the end. I think at 100 proof, this drink's a little bit more tame. Could be kind of dangerous, in fact, at 100 proof. But a lovely, lovely expression. I really like it.
It's funny because you said tea, and that was the first thing when I took a sip. It was like I get that note of a tea, which is really unique. I know you see that in rye sometimes. I don't get it a lot, but I really like it when I do. So with the combination of the spiciness, the mintiness, the sweetness, Matt, I think that's great when you call it a honey tea, and I think that's right on, like a spiced honey tea almost. Really nice, and I agree. This could be pretty dangerous, if you don't watch yourself. Michael, anything else stand out to you on the palate?
That is exactly how I refer to the palate. Is a honey green tea.
Yeah, the green tea.
It's the green tea that pops for me.
Yep, for sure. What about you, Ari?
I get all of those things that you just said. I get a little bit more spice. There's a little bit of spice there. I like a little bit of anise. A little bit of the honey comes through. It's all there, and it because it's this blend of two ryes. Again, it's going to be different at different times during the day. Throw an ice cube in there and see what happens. But it's got that nice earthiness that I look for in a rye. That so enough of the barrel there for sweetness, but the rye grain flavor definitely comes through as well.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a few drops of water in this one, and we can move on to our next expression. But I'm going to come back and revisit. I actually did not finish this one yet because we've only been recording for 11 minutes. So I gotta pace myself, guys. So I'm doing the best I can. But let's talk about our fourth expression of the night. Woo, we're working hard tonight. Who wants to tell us about this next one?
I'll get it into hard pressed. As we were going through and sampling a number of whiskeys at bottled and bond strength, and trying to determine what we did. We kept on coming back to this one, and again, when we do sampling, it's all anonymized. We don't know what we're tasting. It's just A, B, C, and D. We kind of kept on coming back to this one because we loved it so much, and it turned out it was Tennessee Distilling Company, 100 proof, bottled and bond. We write it on the back of the label, and it was just so damn good. We kept on coming back to it. And we knew that we wanted to do something interesting with Tennessee. We love Tennessee. Tennessee's obviously a great music environment. And so rather than having a standard Tennessee whiskey, and Three Chord did have a kind of standard Tennessee whiskey, we decided to call this Tennessee Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So we're actively marketing this as a bourbon from Tennessee. It is a bourbon from Tennessee. It's a bottled and bond bourbon. You can see on the little price tag sticker, it says bottled and bond on it.
Yeah.
And we, as we were going through, and first we found the picture of Guitar Shorty and we fell in love with it. And then we found these great pictures of our founder, Neil Giraldo, and we put that on a label. And then it was time to do rye, or a punk rock version of rye, and we found the darts. We knew that we wanted to find a legend of Tennessee music to put on this label. And we did a deep dive into Tennessee music and found a woman who we all found incredibly inspiring, who's also the kind of person who you don't generally find on a whiskey label, and we love that. And so we wanted to honor a woman named Cordell Jackson. Okay. She is in this picture. She's about 82 years old, and she's playing her electric guitar. And she was in the mid 50s, the first woman that we're aware of in the United States to own her own recording studio, record her own music, press her own vinyl. And she did this in Memphis at a record company that she founded called Moon Records, Moon Records, before Moon Records, before Sam Phillips founded Sun Records in the same city. She is one of the great unsung OGs of do-it-yourself American music. And we've since befriended her son and other members of her estate, and are just incredibly honored to put a rock and roll and rockabilly pioneer like Cordell Jackson on the cover of a whiskey label. She's actually getting inducted into the Memphis Music Hall of Fame in just a couple of weeks. And so you're down in Memphis at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you're going to get some hard pressed.
Very nice. Matt, what do you pick up on the nose on this one, man?
First thing I really picked up was a big old nose full of butterscotch. It's like nice butterscotch, sweet notes that come across. I picked up a good corn content in it as well. The sweet corn, nice full body from that. And also a good like whiff of maple, kind of a sweetness, maple syrup type note comes across with like a little bit of toasted oak near the end.
Man, I don't know why, but it's almost like a nuttiness to me that comes through in this. Matt, you're talking about caramel. It reminds me almost like of a Payday candy bar. And I don't know why it does, but I kind of get this aroma that just a very sweet, almost candy-like, but almost like a hint of nuttiness for me for some reason. So that's
Matt really nailed the. So we've been talking about rye and like the impact of rye and all these other expressions. This is definitely low rye, high corn, right? And you're getting right. You nailed it. It's an 80-10-10, right? So it's 80% corn, 10% rye, 10% malted barley. There's enough rye there to give it some structural support, but really the corn and the brown sugar flavor. And the caramel, and some people get toasted nuts or burnt sugar. I think that all comes through, and this is kind of what we look for in a 100 proof bourbon. It's sweet and it's smooth and it's high proof, and that's why we kept on coming back to it and decided unaugmented, this is really fantastic. Let's put this in a bottle at 100 proof and make it $34.99.
Wow. Yeah, very nice. Michael, anything stand out else to you on the nose on this one?
So the nose on this particular product always reminds me of, you remember when you were a kid and you stick your head in the trick or treat bag?
Yeah.
And you get all that candy aroma?
All the
That's this for me.
Okay. All right. So I'm not that far off,
No.
even though I was talking about nuts. It's like, it just has like a candy bar aroma to me. I mean, like, and Payday just kind of stuck out to me, but it's just very, that's a perfect descriptor, Michael. I'm going to get to remember that one. I like that. Ari, what about anything else stand out on the nose, Ari?
Yeah, no, it's confection. And
Yeah.
and I think you nailed it all. And that's what we were aiming for here. We wanted a high proof, yet approachable, a very bourbony type product. And we went down to Tennessee to find it.
Yep. Very, very nice. Guys, let's talk about the future of the brand. Because we're getting close to the end. We're going to still talk about the palate and the finish on this one, but let's kind of talk about the future, things that are going on. What else do you have coming up? You kind of alluded to a few things, and Ari, you were throwing out some things that had been previously distilled. So, I mean, what kind of surprises, Michael, Ari, what things coming down the pike that we might be looking at?
Well, I can tell you this. You're going to see some unbelievable band partnerships as well as brand partnerships coming down the pike.
Okay.
Throughout the rest of this year and going into next year. And again, it all comes back to supporting the music community, supporting the hardware developers in the music community, the record player manufacturers, the vinyl pressers, the vinyl stores, so on.
Nice.
Anything that we can do as a brand, as an organization, to bring light to future generations of all of this unbelievable product that's available, and having this unbelievable renaissance right now, we feel it's our duty to do that. So with that said, a lot of the initiatives that you're going to be seeing us undertaking are going to be in that vein.
Very nice. That's awesome. Ari, you look like you had something to say there.
First of all, Michael, I think you really nailed it there. I mean, there's some incredible band and brand partnerships coming up. Kind of ratcheting up we get to work with more of our favorite bands, essentially from all time. And then we have a number of LTOs, limited time offering, experimental batches that are in barrels right now. A couple years ago, we had a lot of fun with this honey toasted concept, playing with toasted barrels and honey barrels. We've kind of reformulated something like that, which is going to be coming down the pike in a little while. And we're also really enjoying, as a lean non-distiller producer blending studio, we're really, enjoying the barrel glut that we have right now.
Sure.
We have access to barrels like we've never aged barrels, bottle ready barrels. Like we said, a lot of these whiskeys are incredibly well made, totally bottle ready, but they really need to serve as a canvas to bring them to their kind of highest and best, version. We get to work creatively. We get to collaborate with folks. We get to do blends that people have never seen before, blending whiskeys that have never really been blended before, barrel finishes that are new and unique, but also speak to the Three Chord brand ethos. So it's really kind of, I believe, an emerging golden age for some of these non-distiller producers like Three Chord,
right,
which now have access to incredible whiskey, and it's a matter of like, can you make it fun and interesting and engaging for a customer base, and that's really the challenge in front of us.
Absolutely. The exciting thing that exactly what Ari said is allowing us to do is to create some really exciting experiential programs at retail level. So right on the retailer floors, we've been fortunate to be partnering with the unbelievable retailers, in particular in Kentucky, around Bourbon and Beyond. You'll be seeing our products rolling out to a number of Kroger stores, as well as several others. But some really exciting displays and some unique experiences that you'll be seeing right inside of the retailers.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're very excited about what's coming down the path for Three Chord.
And you'll continue to be an NDP. I guess there's no plans, no thoughts in terms of building a distillery or taking that under your cell, or has that been talked about or thought about, or?
Never say never. The most important thing is we have access to so much wonderful whiskey.
Sure.
And we have so many ways of playing around with it. Again, we're a blending studio.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what we've always been, which is go find the best whiskeys. Just like in a music studio, you go find the best musicians for whatever song you're working on. We go and find the best whiskeys for whatever our vision is. And we blend them and we augment them and we have fun with that. And while we're not distilling ourselves, we very often, like we alluded to earlier, work with some of the best business-to-business distillers in the country, where we specify everything from grain varietal to yeast strain to fermentation conditions to distillation techniques to cooperage to maturation time. So it's always a real collaborative process. We've never really been one just to buy bulk whiskey on the open market and throw it in a bottle without doing something to it that's an expression of who we are as whiskey makers or who we are as a brand. And so it's like we said, it's actually a real great golden era for that approach to whiskey making right now.
Very nice. Guys, let's jump back to the palate and the finish on this hard press. Matt, what do you pick up on that?
I get a good bit of some nice spicy cinnamon right up front of the palate. Then it leads into like a corn pudding or like a butterscotch pudding. So there's kind of that sweetness, like a sweet and savory kind of balance between like butterscotch, corn pudding in there. Definitely like rounds out with some vanilla, a little bit of spice. Sometimes I find that these higher corn content whiskeys actually have like a little bit of spice or mint kind of on the very end of the palate that just kind of leaves almost with like this little cerebral kind of note on it after you've been taken through like this really savory, really sweet note. And then there's just like this little kind of wisp of mint or something a little spicy right at the end. And this one definitely has it. It's like a nice note to go out on with the palate.
Yeah, the palate on this one's really nice. Again, thinking of the confectioner, I mean, just that the whole desserty, still sticking with that candy bar, but there's spice. It's a spicy candy bar. So I like that. Michael, what about you?
I get clove and I get candy corn.
Yeah, okay, I can see that for sure. Yeah, Ari, anything else to add on that?
I'm going last, and I think you kind of hit I think you actually hit them and everything I was going to say. No, it's a really, we're really excited. Like I said, this is an 100 proof, really great bottled and bond expression, with a cool package for $35.
That's awesome.
So we really wanted to make, that's what we're about as a company. We want to be accessible and exciting and start these conversations.
Well, here's a conversation. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in, because here's what I want to see from Three Chord, because I'm a big fan of the brand and have followed you guys, not quite from the beginning, but pretty close. And you guys are so tied into music. I want to see you guys open up a place on Music Row down in Nashville and have an experience where people can come in and not just enjoy the whiskey, but also enjoy the music and the connection that's all there. I mean, I'd love to see that in Louisville on Whiskey Row, but I think with you guys, it seems like Nashville would just be like the ideal place for you guys to do something like that. So when can we make that happen?
It's a fantastic conversation. It's you're maybe not it's not the first time it's been brought up. So we shall see where the future takes us.
We'll take it under advisement.
Tell Neil that his attorney. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll tell him you're looking for a gig.
Yeah, exactly right. No, I would love to see that. I have family in Nashville. We're down there quite often.
Oh, we love it. We love the Nashville market.
Yeah, man, it'd be such a great fit for you guys, and how much fun would that be? So, guys, we're at the end of the show, but before we wrap it up, I always like to ask our guests, what's been the best part of this journey for you so far? Michael, since you're newbie on the block here for the show, what's been your favorite part of this whole journey for you, man?
I mean, it's gonna sound cheesy and corny, but it's the people that I've been able to meet over the years.
Sure.
From the music festivals to the whiskey festivals to all of the retailers and the store visits that I've been able to be a part of over the near decade now that I've been in this business. Everybody is just so welcoming and engaging and interested, and it's a whole hell of a lot better than the financial services industry. I can tell you
that. As an attorney, I could probably say it's about the same as financial services. Yes, I would agree with you hands down, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Ari, what about you, man? I'll ask you for probably the fourth time.
Yeah, and I'll probably give you a variation on the same answer, which is a variation on what Michael said, which is just like, what do you love about the musical community, for instance? Well, you love the music and you love the creativity. You love the people who are making stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, shared enthusiasm, shared passion, encouragement, getting to know people you wouldn't know otherwise. Music is this thing that brings you together. It's the same with whiskey, right? Yeah. We love what we do. We're in it because we love it. We get to meet such wonderful people, work with such wonderful people. We conceive of, just like musicians think of songs and then make them real. We do the same thing with whiskey. And at the end of the day, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It works when you work with really great people, when you have great customers and relationships with that audience that you build. It's the entire whiskey culture and how wonderful and supportive and creative it is. It's an incredibly unique industry. And keep on saying it, incredibly fortunate that we've been part of it for as long as we have been.
That's awesome, man. Great answer there. Where can people find more information about Three Chord and find your products as well?
Yeah, you can check out threechordbourbon.com and then check us out on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
Okay. And the product distribution, where can they find your stuff?
Oh, you can find us all over the country.
All over. Okay.
So we're actively rolling out volume 2 throughout the country.
Okay.
Right now.
Good.
But
awesome.
you could go on to threechordbourbon.com. You could check out our store locator for retailers near you. And as well, you could check out, if we're not in a retailer near you, you could check out our online store.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys so much, man. It's been a fun night. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up, Michael?
No, just thank you so much for having us. And we appreciate you guys and all of your listeners and all of your followers. We always love to read the comments. So we're excited to check those out.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on successfully completing your first mission.
Thank you.
On the podcast.
I feel honored.
That's awesome. Ari, any final thoughts, man, before we wrap it up tonight?
Oh, guys, thanks so much for having us. Thanks for letting us highlight our latest work, this volume 2, our new formulations of spirits, our new packaging concept, showing you how they work really well to collect all together. Just like you would collect records, you could collect these bottles and they kind of look really cool together, and you get to pull them out and read them just like with records. And thanks for the opportunity of putting this out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Matt, any final thoughts, man, before we close it up?
Thanks for sitting down with us, guys. The pleasure really is all ours. Ari, great to catch up with you again. Michael, finally great to meet you and get you on the show. And it's been great to hear what you all have been doing for the last little bit. We're always looking forward to chatting with you in the future and letting our listeners, morning, noon, or night, whenever it is they're getting their Bourbon Life podcast, in on what's going on in Three Chord.
Absolutely. Well said, Matt. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad we were finally able to get this together, get you guys both on the show. Michael, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on here. Ari, always great to see you, man. Can't wait to catch up with you in person sometime, hopefully very soon. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on the rebranding, the stuff, the releases, the work you guys are doing. It's great. Like I said, man, it has been so much fun to watch what you guys have done over the last 5.5 years that we've been following you guys. You're just doing a great job. You're making a difference. You're having an impact. You're not just touching the whiskey community, the bourbon community, but you're impacting the music industry as well. The people that are out there day after day, playing and doing things that they do and what they love, and you're bringing those together. And I think that's just awesome. It speaks volumes, like I said before, about the type of company you guys are, your leadership, what you guys want to do, and how you're doing it. So congratulations, and thank you guys for what you do. It's been a pleasure to watch what you guys do all this. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in each week and checking us out. We appreciate you taking the time, like Matt says, whatever time of day it is, morning, noon, or night, whenever it is you get your Bourbon Life fix. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook as well at The Bourbon Life. We also have our private Facebook group, the Bourbon Lifers. If you feel like joining that, we have some fun conversations in there. So check that out. Don't forget our good friend Mike, Big Chief, who does the Whiskey Trip podcast. That comes out under our umbrella every Tuesday. So check him out on Instagram and Facebook as well. Again, it's the Whiskey Trip, but you can find him on Tuesdays on our podcast. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up, send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full, and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the bourbon life.